What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Weekend Review for July 28th, 2025. There were a number of hot fixes for the event, but it's still a hot mess. 4.3 is already on the way, and yeah, just what we needed right now, an audio Star Citizen Live. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike. Stop by and say hi if you haven't yet. I always enjoy seeing you guys over there. We have a lot to get through, but before we do, let me share with you today's sponsor. Thank you to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video. I just went on a trip, and Manta Sleep was an absolute game changer for me. I used quite a few neck pillows on trips before, but this one was different. First off, I was on a train for 30 hours each way. So I needed to have something that was easy to use, comfortable, and I needed it to be flexible. And the Manta Travel Pillow was all three. First thing, it came in a super compact little bag, and when I saw it, that it was a blow-up one, I was honestly a little worried. Sometimes these things have a weird smell from the factory, and this didn't smell anything at all, which was the best part. And it blew up in 2 breaths, which was great. I never had to blow up a travel pillow before. Often the ones with the little beads are too soft and don't support my neck, and the ones with foam are like a neck brace. And I can adjust this to be however I like based on how much I blow it up. And lastly, what made the train ride so nice is this has 4 positions you can use it in. The lock, I used this the most as it was nice to lean against the window with. The hug, and this was huge. When I was tired of leaning back, I pulled out the tray and did this. I slept most of the night like this, which was great. The nod was nice during the day when I wasn't leaning back as much. And lastly, the cradle, the usual just side sleeping. All these were great. So if you are proudly pro-nap, head down to the description or the pinned comment and use my link. And also use my code SaltEMike for 10% off your order at mantasleep.com today. Once again, that's code SaltEMike for 10% off. Once again, thanks as always for supporting the sponsors, guys. Manta has legit been a lifesaver for me. And with that, let's get into, this disaster of a patch. All right, we'll start out on Monday, which was probably our most major update of the week until Friday. They were able to unlock many more locations at one time for players to not only complete the intro missions for the event, but also complete other cargo missions. At this point, none of the other mission types were available to complete. I saw them briefly, as you can see here, but they were snagged up and I never saw them again. Also, people are still struggling with broken freight elevators at a frustrating rate. I was like 1 for every 5 or more that were broken when I tried to complete the missions. While I was able to make more progress than I had in the past, it was still incredibly frustrating, but I did not know how much I should have appreciated the fact that I could stack my cargo in the turn-in location. I had no issues, but many were getting a lot of client crashes. And then on Tuesday was a bit of a fail from the player-facing perspective. They may have fixed a lot, but it was quite hard to recognize. When it came to the freight elevators, at least, all the game bugs and more came up. If anything was going to fix a lot of these issues, it was an event like this, right? Like that is completely focused on freight elevators. This was going to do it. So honestly, I'm embracing this pain a little bit, as hopefully it does lead to a much better experience going forward, because I do a lot of industry stuff. So dealing with the freight elevator is kind of like my life, right? And it's never been fun, and this just shows how bad it's been. It shouldn't be like this, but at this point, if this is what it takes to just do the right thing on the CIG side, then this is what it takes, right? Is just have them fall flat on their face and hopefully wake up and learn, but who knows. Wednesday, more focused on client crashes, but people from my stream said that they were still running into quite a few. I actually had my first client crash in this patch, ironically. They also fixed when cargo is on top of the elevator, but there seems to be much worse things going on than this at the freight elevators. And I don't know, maybe they were working 10% better for me, but much more cargo was being turned in. So yeah, there were some exploits, but Yeah, the turn-in amount is wild. So it's kind of showing that people are engaged with the event. I think people really like the rewards, and a lot of people are playing. Then Friday, the message of the day said they released a hotfix that was server-side only. It basically made those missions that we were missing available again. This includes like, you know, the ones that have the ace pilots, things like that. Like everything is back. You do have to fight to get them, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I did a mission to recover a ship without any issue. That was the one where there's like a dead ship and there's a good amount of cargo on it, and you just turn it in. So you don't have to pick up cargo. You just turn it in. It's a little bit less tedious, which is nice. And then my new favorite is the FPS one, where you just scoop up 8 SCU boxes that are just laying out in the open and you just go. It's pretty awesome. Basically, these missions have no 4 SCU boxes, and that's refreshing because at this point I've moved thousands and it's been really annoying. They're also planning to do an Evo Cotty patch for 4.3 when 4.2.1 is this big of a mess. But 4.3 doesn't just mean the next bit of content. There's always things that could not be fixed in a hotfix that need a dedicated patch. This has been a thing in Star Citizen forever. I believe it's a thing in video game development. It just is what it is. And I do expect when those Evo Cotty patch notes come out to see a lot of freight elevator things and things related to resource drive or whatever this event is called. And I think this all but cements that this event will get extended. More of that when we get to the other updates section. Then we also had a launcher update. This is just mainly to fix a certain issue amongst a few others. I haven't had any issues with the launcher, so I don't know what was going on there, but hopefully they're fixed. And with that, yeah, another frustrating week. Freight elevators on Friday are significantly worse than they've had been the entire week for me, and through the weekend. So that has to be the fix. So if it's in 4.3, it's in 4.3. What are we going to do? But hopefully there's some hot fixes coming for freight elevator soon. And with that, let's move into video updates with an SCL about audio. All right, so as I said, we had a Star Citizen Live about audio with the audio team, and this episode went about how you would expect. Not too much to pull out, just a couple short clips, but the first one was about what happened to the ship flyby sounds. People loved those.
But now we're building the team to be able to get back to all of that good stuff and make sure that we don't lose any part of the experience and just make it better.
Yeah, so we didn't intentionally take them out. It was
more
another aspect of the game grew. A bug happened.
Yeah,
we haven't been able to
there's been a
address
gradual shrinking of how big the ship sounds are in order to make the game performant, but now we're reworking that so they can be performant and you can hear them a long way away as well.
So we had a lot of talk on the show about how they're building the team and they weren't able to manage a lot of these things, but they should be now. So they will be kind of back, the ship flyby sounds, but more importantly, they will have the bandwidth to not kind of let them die again. And then next was about voice over IP and why it isn't that great right now, and hopefully what is in the plans to fix it.
Hit you with this one next. SaltEMike's question: what are you doing, if anything, to improve VoIP? It's super inconsistent.
Yeah, well, as I just alluded to, we have back-end issues there. They are on the list to be looked at. I don't know when they're going to be scheduled in, but this is all work for our team over in Turbulent in Canada to look at, because the VoIP back-end was designed in a time when we had 50-player server caps, and now we have, 500-player server caps. So that system,
it to scale.
Yeah, that system hasn't grown. I didn't build it at all, so.
So what does that? What does that fix, that evolution path, kind of look like? Because VoIP is one of those. Once upon a time, it was a signature Star Citizen thing, and that along with VoIP, face over IP. But it is kind of falling into this realm of the opposite of feature creep, the backlog of fixes and stuff like this. I'm not going to ask you to go through the entire chain of fixes necessary, but at a top level, what needs to happen?
So what needs to happen is a rework of the back end so that it can handle these hugely elevated player counts. We also want to be able to communicate cross-shard, so it basically needs to become completely independent of of servers and shards, and it needs to be running in its own backend entirely, so that anyone can communicate with anyone. That is all work that I'm not going to be part of and not familiar with, so it's very much kind of, as I say, our team in Canada. But once they've done that, then the hookup on the game side is not much different to how it is now. So as you know, when it works, you're able to communicate with each other, but it is inconsistent, and it's inconsistent because of this back-end issue.
So yeah, it's still very clear by the differences from the first answer to the second, and it even was said by the director who's there that their first priority is ships. Ships. Surprise, surprise. Star Citizen, again, not looking much like a video game, but more like a, I guess, a car ship salesman or whatever. And then most of this work is probably going into Squadron 42, so voice over IP is not really used there, right? VoIP is pretty important for the player experience in Star Citizen, though. And it's pretty important that, like, for me at least, and I hope it is more prioritized than they made it sound here. It's hard to tell since the person who answered the question isn't going to be working on it and he doesn't know where it's scheduled and things like that. But man, if I can sound the alarm on anything sounds, I would love VoIP to work better. Just think about how much better this event would go if VoIP was working consistently for you, right? Communicating to people, piracy interactions, anything. That interacting with players would just be better. And then lastly, the highlight of the show was probably the bubbly new director, the lead of the audio team, who came in saying that he wants to talk to the community, engage as much as he can, and all these big plans. He fits right in. Wildly ambitious. Let's see what you get done in the next 12 months, buddy. Like, I do not want to make a negative thing about his excitement, right? He seems super pumped. He seems super awesome. That's all positive, but you work at this company, right? You maybe don't know the disaster that it is. I don't know, but hopefully he's able to do some cool stuff. And audio's really, really awesome. And I don't know, man, recently things have been pretty cool. Things have been pretty good on the audio side. Maybe he has something to do with it. With that, let's go into other updates. All right, as always, we start out with a sneak peek, and this one's obvious. It's again the sniper armor from CitizenCon 2024, where it's meant to be really stealthy, but the highlight here is probably in the skin. This is, to me, a concierge color scheme, that black and gold look. Given the pattern, it's definitely a Sakura Sun pattern, but it also looks like it'll probably be a Wicklow skin that they hinted in the roadmap update that we had a while back. And then Bar Citizen stuff. First one, CitizenCon. If you requested a developer for your CitizenCon watch party, Xylo has an update for you. They sound like they have chosen their spots and they will be reaching out to you soon. So just a quick one there. Another one is Gamescom Bar Citizens. CIG will be going to Gamescom to do more Bar Citizens. Nothing, no official capacity, no trailers, none of that stuff for Squadron, right? And it feels like the devs have gone to more Bar Citizens this year than they have been on ISCs. So if you're planning on being there and want to meet up with some CIG folks, the link's in the post, and link to the post is in the description, so check that out. And then the last one is the only game-related dev post this week, and that is cancel the event, is what somebody wanted CIG to do. So there was a thread, and yeah, Xylo came out saying the sentiment of the community, from his understanding, is to just extend the event so people can make up for lost time with all the bugs. And he stated here, there's no plan to end the event early, and it really sounds like they're going to extend it once the issues are resolved. But as I've reported so far, the freight elevator issues are not resolved whatsoever. Layers, you can't even layer cargo on top of each other without having issues. The freight elevators to collect cargo is not working. It's very hard to get the missions and things like that. So there's still a lot of work to do on that front. And yeah, quite frustrating, but it's getting slowly better. And it just feels like Live is a PTU at this point, and they need to just be honest about that. I don't know why we're doing PTUs for a month if this is what we end up with every single time. Just go with it. Let us know. And I think the community will be way more patient and understanding with those things. And with that, that's where we're going to leave it today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Kind of whatever week, it's just been CIG trying to pick up the pieces. But yeah, so like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're really enjoying the weeks in review and want to see more, and leave a comment down below on anything that you want to talk about or anything that I might have missed. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week.